Welcome, Greek U Nation, to episode number 667 of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Eilon, CEO of Greek University. I'm a speaker and an author. Our ninth book just came out. It's called From Letters to Leaders, The Legacy of Service. So I want you to go and pick up that book on Amazon today. We call these episodes the Fraternity Foodie Podcast because there is nothing like great food to bring fraternity and sorority leaders together. Fun fact, today we're going to be talking more about travel, and I would highly suggest traveling to new countries for all of our listeners. That perspective is more important than ever for fraternity and sorority members, college students that are looking to build empathy and to give new ideas on how you can make an impact on this world. So let's talk a little bit more about that today. Amanda Black founded the Solo Female Traveler Network, a global community of 560,000 rad women who travel solo. She designs women-only trips to offbeat places like hot air balloons in Turkey and cliffside monasteries in Bhutan, night markets in Egypt, and dawn desert camelback in Morocco. Amanda also studies how strangers become friends, the idea at the heart of her TEDx talk on shared first experiences. Her work spans three projects. It's SoFe Travel, which is an immersive group trip, Kindred, which is a community building project for women closer to home, and the SoFe Travel Collective, which is an artisan-driven store supporting women artisans worldwide. Across it all, her focus is the same: build spaces where women feel braver, less alone, and more connected to themselves, each other, and the world. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Nice to be here. It's really exciting to finally meet you. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. I love everything about your story, and I'm just so excited to share it with our college students. And, especially, I really like this whole idea that you have behind your TEDx talk in terms of how strangers become friends, because I think it's so critical, especially as we start thinking about recruitment and like formal recruitment. And this is really at the crux of what we're trying to do. And I think you hold the key. So, this is another reason why I think you're a great guest on the show. But before we get to all of that, I know you decided to attend the University of Cincinnati and you joined Chi Omega over there. I'm wondering, why did you choose the University of Cincinnati? And also, what made you want to join Chi O?
Well, I chose the University of Cincinnati because my parents were paying for college and that's what they wanted to pay for.
That's great.
So that's how that decision was made. And Kyo was more my decision. I wish that I had some inspirational answer for you, although Kyo is an incredible sorority with very deep meaning and deep roots. But I chose it because honestly, I liked the girls the most. I just connected with them better, and I really liked their fruit infused water. So that's about it.
I mean, who doesn't like fruit infused water? I mean, if you
Right?
offer that in a recruitment event, I am totally down. So I love that. And it really is, it's all about that connection, of course, with the sorority members. And I'm so glad that that has worked out well for you. And you've also made 17 major moves in your life. You've even lived as a full-time nomad. So how did constantly being the new person shape how you think about belonging today?
Well, I had to adapt fast, right? So, I mean, whether it was like when I was a kid, growing up in school, after college, I started moving not only states, but countries. And I'm just really not a loner. And so if I wanted to be around other people, I had to really figure out how to adapt fast and how to connect quickly. And so it forced me to kind of figure out how to do that for myself.
That is awesome. Now, I'm so impressed with the Solo Female Traveler Network that you've built into a global community. I mean, you got 600,000 women there. That is just absolutely outstanding. What was the moment you realized that this was going to be much more than just a travel group, but this is actually a movement?
I actually remember the moment, to be honest. It was about a year and a half in, and we had about 65,000 members. And I remember telling a new friend of mine this number, And she was like, "Babe, you've gone viral." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" So it was that moment that I kind of realized that this was something. And when when my community members started talking about wanting to travel together, I was like, okay, let me try to figure out if I can put a trip together. And then once it sold, like sold out and oversold, I was like, oh, damn, this is something. So yeah, those were the two kind of peak moments for me.
Well, congratulations. You have a lot to be proud of. And, I watch your TEDx talk. It really focuses on shared firsts. So, can you explain what that means in simple terms to our listeners?
Yeah, a shared first is literally just doing something new, something for the first time with someone else as a way of bonding faster and deeper. Because, when you're in college, you're going through a lot of shared firsts. It's a really special time, and it's probably the last time, not to be a downer, but probably the last time in your life where you're naturally in this kind of environment. And after that, making friends gets a whole lot harder. So, anyone listening, if you are a college student, you nurture these relationships and keep them because they're a lot harder to come by later. Because as college, especially Greek life, is all about first. You're in college the first time. You might be have moved out of home for the first time. You're doing fundraisers for the first time. You're learning things I mean, it's an endless thing of doing things for the first time. And that's why some of your fraternity and sorority sisters end up being, or your fraternity brothers and sorority sisters end up being some of your lifelong friends. So it's really taking that idea and the same concept that I learned countless times when I was traveling, connecting really quickly, making friends really quickly with people, and applying it to your everyday life as an adult.
All right. Well, you're totally depressing everybody about adulthood. Now they're like, I can
Sorry.
never leave college. It sounds horrible when I graduate. But I need your advice in this. When you think about formal recruitment at CAIO, I know that feels like a lifetime ago to you, but a lot of the sorority members and fraternity members really kind of struggle in, especially like that formal recruitment. How do we build real connections with these women in a formal recruitment session when we're only meeting them for the first time and we have such a short time to really get to know them? And so it's really difficult. And a lot of times, too, I mean, with the formal recruitment process, a lot of it feels very performative, right? Like I have to wear nude heels and all of this other stuff when
Mm,
really I just want to be in sweatpants watching The Bachelor on the couch. And I'm doing all of these performative things that isn't really real. It's not what we really do on a
mhm.
day-to-day basis. So I guess the question is, with all of your expertise and the TEDx talk, and I think you're the perfect person to ask this question, how can college students intentionally create shared firsts in their sorority or their fraternity with potential new members instead of defaulting to all of these surface level interactions?
Yeah, I think the first step is to really sit down with your brothers or sisters and decide what deeper qualities you're looking for in new members. Because I mean, I can't give any secrets away, but I know that in our process, our behind the scenes processes were sometimes quite shallow, and that was on us. And I'm sure that's and I know that's across the board. So, it starts internally. It starts with us. If we can identify some of the things that we really want, if we want our brothers or sisters to be deep thinkers, if you want them to be, I mean, you can name the deeper qualities that you want. If you want them to be community focused, whatever. But you decide those, and then from there, you can figure out like what ways are you able to like plan these quick moments you have with these new people to determine if they have these qualities. But first, you have to know what you're looking for, and in order to even attempt to go deeper. So how we did behind the scenes when all the girls are gone and it's just your sisters or your brothers and you're going through person by person, look at them as through the lens of what you really want to be living with you day in and day out. That's the best place to start.
Yeah, that's great advice. And listen, the guys are not any better, okay? So
I'm
guys
sure.
are doing the same thing that the women are doing too. I mean, I can remember, bringing up a photo of the person and like all of a sudden we're like throwing tomatoes at the screen, like,
Yeah.
no, that person belongs in the bottom house, not the top house. I mean, it's like it's a whole thing. And it's like, wait a minute, this is just like surface level stuff. Did anybody actually talk to this guy? Like, do we
Yeah.
know anything about him other than his photo? So like I totally agree with you. We have to really get beyond these surface level interactions, and I think it does start with finding out, what do we really want here? I mean, what are we really looking for, and what are the values that we want in this house?
Mhm.
And so anyway, but I think you gave great advice there. The other thing that I'm wondering about too, that I think you can give us some really good insight on is, why do you think that people feel lonelier in college even though we're actually surrounded by people?
I think it kind of goes back to some of the things we just said about surface level. I mean, I think when you're in college, you're just doing your best to figure it out, right? And you feel so much pressure and expectation, and you feel like you're supposed to get good grades. You're supposed to have the best of friends. You're supposed to go out every Friday and Saturday night. You're supposed to have a boyfriend or girlfriend. But like, at the end of the day, I think that a lot of college students feel lonely because they just maybe take it a little too seriously. Like you are not supposed to have it all figured out. You do not have to be perfect. You're allowed to just enjoy this phase of your life. And when as you are surrounded by people, like, do you talk to people? Do you ask them questions that are deeper than about the class assignment or about the weather? Do you take that next step and invite them to the party or invite them to um whatever, like to do something fun together? Do you actually like take those steps? Because I think a lot of people, whether you're in college or whether you're, I don't know, 45 and working a desk job, people in general just like don't take the first step. So I would say don't take it all so seriously if this applies to you. And if there's somebody you think is cool, just like make the first move. Platonically, romantically, whatever, just like give it a try. And if they say no, if whatever, there's so many more people.
Yeah. Listen, my school had 30,000 people. So if it didn't
Yeah.
go well, okay, on to the next one. I might never see that person ever again.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I totally agree with your advice. I think it's excellent. The other question too is, I want to ask you, what is a simple, practical way that somebody who's listening to this podcast can actually deepen one relationship this week? I mean, I don't want to make this to be too big. Let's start really simple. What can they do to deepen one relationship?
I would say think of something, put intention behind it first of all. If you want to get to know someone better, deepen a relationship, decide that you want to do it, and then think of something a little bit different to invite them to like organize for you. It doesn't have to be like crazy. You can go on Groupon. They can even Groupon has some really kind of weird experiences that are really cheap, like whether it's going to like a head spa together if you've not done that before, or um like where they wash your hair and scalp, and that's what I'm talking about. And like, um, also like escape rooms that have like different angles. There's all kinds of things on Groupon. You can go in your own town and do like create your own mini food tour. You can decide to take like a cool creative class together. Maybe there's something offered at your university. There's so many like slightly different things that you can do. And just for that person, just being asked to do something, especially asked to do something that's like not let's go grab a drink, is special. So that already is setting up intention. And then once you're there with that person, you're doing something that's going to be memorable. And then you can ask questions that are deeper, like, what do you like, not just what's your major, but like, what do you dream about doing in 10 years? Or like if you could there's so many you can go online. I'll give you a link to a list of really cool questions that you can ask people. But I think that what we do as college students, as adults, is we think intention is uncool, but it's not. It's super cool. Think about if someone asked you to do this kind of thing. So once you start that kind of relationship with someone, um, there's there's no way that you can't deepen that relationship, in my opinion.
That's fantastic advice. I really like that. And you're so right too. I mean, if I said to you, "Oh, let's go grab a drink at the local bar," you'd be like, "Yawn, like I've done this, 50 times." But if I say, "Hey, let's go on a hike. I know this really cool spot," suddenly you're
Hmm.
intrigued, right? I mean, it doesn't involve alcohol. It's just us having fun, being one with nature and just going someplace we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So that is really intriguing. But I'm definitely going to get that link. It's going to be in the show notes below this video. So if you want that link on some unique questions that you can ask somebody to deepen the relationship, I'm going to get that link from Amanda and put it in the show notes below. So go and check that out there. The other question that I had for you too is I'm wondering what role vulnerability plays in building that connection, and how do you introduce that vulnerability without making the other person feel uncomfortable?
That's a great question. And I think that if you've already put a little bit of intention into getting to know someone, that's vulnerable. So I think even just setting things up that way, it's not too much. As I said, if when someone is asked to do something cool, they feel honored, they feel seen, right? So, and you probably feel a little bit vulnerable. So you're already setting yourself up for success when you're with that person, you don't have to trauma dump. Like, and please don't trauma dump. Like, you don't have to tell them all your secrets or, or whatever. But what you can do when you lead with honesty, with heart, that person, it's probably going to feel very refreshed, very at ease. Most people will feel at ease in that, like, oh, maybe I can like actually be myself. Maybe I can actually say the thing I'm truly thinking and not the polished answer that I feel I should say, you know? So, I don't, there's really no deep advice I can give about vulnerability other than just be vulnerable yourself. Things will follow. And don't take it all so seriously.
Mhm. Now, you're leading 600,000 solo female travelers. So I think it's important to kind of talk a little bit about safety as well. So, like in that scenario, right, I'm asking you for the first time, we just met, hey, let's go on a hike together. And maybe you're thinking in the back of your mind, this guy's going to kidnap me and I'm never going to see my friends or family again. So, why is safety such a key ingredient to what we're talking about in terms of connection?
Well, because it involves vulnerability. If a male stranger asked me to go on a hike, I would say no.
Mhm, mhm.
And any woman listening, you should say no too. Because that's too vulnerable. That's a line. But if we were in a public place and you asked me what my dreams are for the next 5 years, then maybe I'd be a little bit more, then I'd be a little honest with you.
Mhm.
So you should never give more than what you're comfortable with and put yourself in danger for this. There are so many steps, or not, there are so many options to land you at what step you're comfortable. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't go from 0 to 100, like nothing should,
Yeah.
but you can take steps. The intention of asking someone to do something cool. That's maybe step one. Getting them in, being with them and asking them questions other than the weather or what's your major. That's step two. And then sharing things about yourself that maybe you don't normally share. That's maybe step three. And it goes on. So definitely never do anything that you're not comfortable with. Definitely don't be alone with someone in a non-public place that you don't know. And especially if you're a woman, like make sure that alcohol is only involved if you're very comfortable.
I think that's all great points, and you're absolutely right. Like, let's not start in a place that's not public, right? Like, if we're gonna go do something, make it a public place, whether it be a cup of coffee or whatever. All right, all this makes a lot of sense to me. The other question that I had, because you're leading such a big community of travelers, what does it actually take to turn this idea that you had into what I would consider to be a global community?
A lot of hyper focus. Hyper focus. When I started this and I decided that I wanted to make it into something, it required, I was like a dog with a bone. You couldn't get me off the computer. You couldn't get me to stop thinking about it. Every action I took was for one goal. At the beginning, it was to grow the community. Then it was to get people on trips. And then it was to grow the number of people we have on trips. Then it was to super nurture the community. I mean, there's always one to maybe tops, now that we're in a bigger operation, maybe three things tops at one time that you're focused on. If you're not hyper focused, then nothing will happen, in
Man,
my
I love that.
opinion.
Well, congratulations on all the success. This is just absolutely amazing to me. The other question that I have for you is that I connect with my fraternity brothers by going on trips with them,
Mhm.
and it's really been very helpful for us over the years because now I'm 25 plus, almost 30 years removed from college, and so the question is, how do we keep those relationships fresh when we're in different cities? And so what we've decided to do is go to baseball games in different cities all over the country and see different ballparks that we haven't seen before. And I guess our goal is to go and visit each one, even though we've never officially stated that. But I think we can start crossing them off and actually map this out and do this in a very methodical way. So I'm going to be seeing a San Diego Padres game with my fraternity brothers in June. And so I'm wondering, where should I be going for a great meal? Because I think you know some good meal spots that we can go and check out.
Oh my gosh. A meal in San Diego. There's so many options. I mean, I would recommend Mexican food because we're so close to the border.
Mhm.
Um, I'd have to actually think about it because there's so many.
All right. Well, listen, think about it and let me know because we're going to be looking for some good spots. So we're always looking for recommendations there. That would definitely be appreciated. But yeah, we can't wait to get there. It's just a fantastic part of the country. The zoo there is also absolutely phenomenal. So if you haven't seen the San Diego Zoo, I would highly recommend it. I've been there several times and it's just fantastic. And I'm just jealous. I mean, you have like one of the most beautiful places, I think, in the world to live in. So good on you. Fantastic over there. All right. So if our listeners, if they want to connect with you for speaking engagements on their college campus, or maybe they want to watch your TEDx talk, where should they go to connect with you and see all of the things?
So they can go to hold on one second. I forgot my own website for a second.
Listen, it happens to the best of us, Amanda. It's totally fine.
Okay, got it. It's meetamandablack.com. That is where you can find my travel company. You can find some of information about speaking. You can also find that list of questions, which I'll send you the direct link to as well. Yeah, that's the best place.
That is fantastic. Meetamandablack.com. Go to the website. You'll be able to find all the things, the TEDx talk, the questions that you can ask to build those deeper connections that we talked about in this episode today. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all this great information with us today. I know the fraternity and sorority members, especially, they learned a ton that they're going to be able to use in their chapters to grow their chapters. So we really appreciate you being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is fun.
All right, you got it. And to our listeners, if you learned something from Amanda Black today, I want you to share this episode with your chapter. Drop a link in a group chat, share it on social media. You never know who needs to hear Amanda's message today. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Fraternity Foodie Podcast. Bye for now.